Hey everybody, Jam Creates here. Day after the Super Bowl. Boy, that was a disappointment, huh? It really was. It was like just not a good game. The commercials stunk. The halftime show stunk. That whole thing just, it reeked. Anyway, moving on, because that's not what I'm here to talk about. Although I probably could do an entire show about how bad it was. I'll let others do that for me. What I wanted to talk about today is a crazy idea. I had a crazy idea the other day, and I don't know if you guys will think that it's a good idea. I don't know that I think it's necessarily a good idea. It's just an idea. You know, some ideas are not good or bad until they're put to the test and really analyzed. So join me, if you will, in analyzing this idea that I had the other day, and wanted to share with you guys. I was thinking, it's going to sound kind of funny because, like, if I put it in the most bare bones context, listen to this. What if there was, like, an E3 for comic books? Like, if you don't know, if you're into video games, you know what E3 is. It's all the biggest announcements, and all the companies are there. They're showing off their new games. They're dropping new trailers. They're announcing unannounced games. It's a big deal. It has been over the last few years starting to become less important as people are trying to control their own message. But it is still a big deal as far as gamers are concerned. Like, they still look forward to E3. So that's basically what it is. Now, you might say to yourself, well, that already exists. It's called Comic-Con, you dope. And here's what I say to you. I say nay. Nay, I say. Because Comic-Con is not for comic books anymore. And it hasn't been for years. Like, yeah, they have Artist Alley, where the artists try to scrape together commissions and sell some stuff and whatever. And you can meet your favorite comic book artists. And maybe if you're lucky, they won't call you a Nazi or whatever. But comic books do not take center stage at Comic-Con. You see much bigger displays of things like Funko Pops and what else? Toys, and then of course the panels, the biggest panels at Comic-Cons are always about movies or TV shows. They're never about the comic books. Yeah, there's some comic book panels there, but nobody really cares. They're always lame, and they're not that big of a deal. Like, the best ones I've seen would have been like when Jim Lee's doing drawing instruction, because that's really cool. But otherwise, like, you know, the ones that people line up, you know, and wait for and really want to see are the ones where it's the cast of The Walking Dead, or it's the cast of Supernatural, or hey, look, they're going to drop the new Avengers trailer here, or whatever, you know, like that kind of stuff. Like, that, of course, gets, like, tons and tons of people. But that's movies and TV shows and not comic books. There's also I saw a giant Square Enix booth at New York City Comic Con. They don't put out comic books, they make video games. And that's really what it is. They don't even make comic book related video games, really. But that's kind of what Comic-Con has become. It's become more of a pop culture convention than it is a comic book convention. And what I'm talking about is something more akin to, like, the press conferences. Not so much the convention as it is, like, the press conferences that you get at E3, where, you know, Sony, Ubisoft, Microsoft, you know, like, all the big companies, EA, like, they all do these giant stage presentations and show you all the stuff that they have coming and the reasons why you need to buy it and why you should be excited. And I think you could do, you know, like, Marvel and DC could do presentations like that at Comic-Con. However, I still don't think it would be as exciting, because really, what are you going to announce? You're going to announce, hey, guess what? We've got the 18th reboot of Captain Marvel coming this summer. Like, nobody cares. The biggest thing that you would announce at those things would be stuff about the movies or TV shows. Like, what are you going to announce? Another big crossover event? You've already got 3 of them going on concurrently right now. So what do you need another one for? Like, there's no way to build in excitement there. It's just not. It would all be forced and fake. What I'm saying is, for indie comics, the Indiegogo space, the guys who are crowdfunding comics, and even a company like Alterna has a business model, and I know I talk a lot about Alterna Comics, but they have a business model that would lend themselves to this. Imagine if, let's say you didn't know. I mean, like, obviously you already know certain things are coming because they've done the crowdfunding and all that kind of stuff. But let's say that you didn't know, like, for example, I don't know, let's take, like, well, you know what? Here's a good one. How about Jawbreakers? Okay, Jawbreakers was a very successful comic book Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign. What if you were at a convention and you're in a press conference, or whatever you want to call it, a panel, whatever you want to call it whatever you like. You're there, and suddenly, like, the lights go down, some music starts, like a video comes up on the screen, and it starts showing, like, the Jawbreakers characters, and there's like a voiceover giving you this thing, and he's like, you know, whatever it is he's talking about, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, like, you see a logo up on the screen, Jawbreakers, whatever the next book is going to be called. I don't want to call it Jawbreakers 2 because, like, the Jawbreakers whole timeline, it's a little weird anyway, because they've got the series, the God King series, and they've got Lost Souls. So there's, like, different stuff. But, like, anyway, what if it pops up and it's like Jawbreakers, you know, whatever the name of the new series is going to be, or if the new book would be, it would be Jawbreakers, you know, Booty Kicking, whatever it's going to be called. And you see that logo and you're like, oh snap, you know, like, he's doing it, you know. And then what if it announces right on there, like, you know, art, you know, story by Richard C. Meyer or your boy Zach or whatever it's going to say, and art by John Malin, unless he gets someone else to do the next book. Maybe he gets a different artist to do it, and you're like, oh, look at this, you know. And then it announces, hey, guess what? And the crowdfunding campaign begins now. Like, you would be so excited. Like, you would be at that convention screaming and yelling, hooting and hollering, all excited about a new big book. You would be super excited. And then if you saw, like, some art from it already, like, you would be, like, freaking out. And then same thing, like, what if there was a new book by creators that you like, you know, and it's a trailer, it's a comic book trailer, comes up for some new book that you've never heard of, but it looks incredible, the concept's awesome, and then they tell you art by this guy, you know, story by that guy, and you're like, oh my god, you're like freaking out, like, yes. And you know it's gonna be, here it is, here's the book, and that's it. Like, it's not gonna be, we're launching a new series that we expect to go on indefinitely, and it's gonna be the 5th Spider-Man series. Like, okay, yay, I guess. More $5 a month books I gotta buy that are ultimately gonna be pointless, if not just outright terrible. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think the model of, and here's where I feel like Alterna can fit into this as well, because Alterna, everything they do is a limited series. So, for example, I mean, we already know it's coming because they've already said it, but what if it hadn't been announced already, and after the success of Blood Realm, the first series, what if you were at this, you know, convention or wherever it is, and you're sitting there and, like, some kind of crazy music comes on and you start seeing the art or these weird symbols, or they start saying something, you know, like this crazy voiceover, and, like, all of a sudden you're like, what is going on? And, like, next thing you know, like, out comes, you know, Robert Geronimo, and out comes Peter Simeti, and they're there to talk about Blood Realm, whatever the new series, I forget what the name of the new series is going to be, but they're out to talk about the new Blood Realm series, and you're like, oh my god, they're making another Blood Realm, yes! Like, you'd be, like, super excited. If you were one of the people who read the first Blood Realm series, and you loved it, like most people seem to, you would be really excited about that, and you would get all up in the air, you'd be flipping out, you'd be like, yes, you'd be hooting and hollering again, and then you find out, like, hey, guess what? it's coming out whenever, look forward to it. And like you get some sample art, you get them to tell you like a little bit about like what's coming and what to expect. You would be like super excited. Like it would be like this, and it only works with things that are like events, like Cyberfrog or Red Rooster or these other books that are, it's a book and then it's done and then you wait for the next book. Like the same way people got excited whenever a new Harry Potter book was announced, people will get excited whenever these new comics are announced. And you can do it with fanfare and at like an event and in, whether it's in trailer form or someone like the artist or the creator is actually up on stage talking about what you can expect from it, or giving a presentation, or if it's even just like Peter Simeti from Alterna Comics giving a rundown of everything that's coming. Like, here it is, I'm going to give you the rundown of everything that's coming from Alterna Comics next year. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Announcement. Showing art, announcing artists, showing covers, telling you what these books are going to be about, telling you when they're coming, how many issues is each series going to be. Like, that is exciting stuff because it's all finite. None of it is just, hey, we're announcing a new series and it's just going to go on forever or until we cancel it and then lie and say that it was a limited series all along, even though it wasn't. Like, that's where the excitement comes from. It's because of the style of release. There's so much more excitement available. And like I said, like, people could literally launch or finish their crowdfunding campaigns at that event. Like, you think about, everybody has the strongest days of their campaigns are at the beginning and at the end, right? Well, if you're in the middle of your campaign at this event, you come out, you present, you talk about it. Guess what? A bunch of new eyeballs are going to be on that thing, and you're going to get a bunch of new sales. If you launch your campaign for your new book right then and there at the show, like, it's like, boom, the crowdfunder's on Indiegogo now, and people could just jump to it and immediately, people are going to buy immediately because of, they're going to back it because of the excitement. And then the same thing of, yep, we're finishing up, this is our last day, so get ready, we're going to begin, we're going to finish up our crowdfund, and then we're planning on shipping on, in whatever, depending on when this is taking place, like, we're going to ship in April or whatever it is, regardless, I'm just picking a month at random. And you say, like, here it is, and today is our last day to get in on it. Today is the last day to get in on the campaign. The campaign ends tonight at midnight or whatever it is, your final day is going to be even better than a normal last day, because usually the last days are pretty big too. I feel like it's just a great way to help get people, excited about these comic books. It's a way to have excitement that is solely about comic books. And if it's just a presentation that's done, you pick a locale and you announce a date and time and you get people to show up there, and, maybe you give away some merch or whatever to get people in. You don't charge them to get in. And they come for the day, and the talent comes in for the day. You do it someplace like New York or wherever, where it's easy to do, to get people to a central hub somewhere. You do it in a hotel conference room or something somewhere, or in a ballroom or whatever it is. If you find a place with a stage where you can really do it upright, like, that would be better, of course. A theater of some kind would be the best thing to do. Like a small theater somewhere, pack a couple hundred people in there who are going to get loud and rowdy and have fun. And then you do all your presentations, and then you're done, and then you move on, and you're like, this was the presentation. This is, Comics Mania 2019 or whatever the hell you want to call it, and like, it would be exciting. I think it would be really exciting. And then if you want, like, possibly if it's something you could do, all the creators who are there could also be available for press, if there's any press worth noting that wants to interview them, and talk about, so they can promote their book even more. So if you've got press there, local press will come out and cover the event just because. If you get enough buzz, you might even get some national attention from some national media. You might get some internet media there who wants to come and do some interviews with the creators, and you could do some promotional stuff that way. And if you really want to, afterwards, you can, as much as I hate this expression, you can press the flesh and meet with the fans who showed up and sign some autographs, do some stuff that way, whatever, It's more about promotion than anything, and somebody would have to foot the bill, and there's a lot of logistics that go into it that would really be difficult, I'm sure. It would be something that would really be much, much easier if you have the deep pockets of a Marvel or a DC to do. And the thing is I just don't think they would be able to do it with as much excitement. I think they could manufacture some excitement for sure. Like, imagine if they would have announced, if they were doing a thing like this, let's say, and they would have announced Major X created by Rob Liefeld at a convention like this. You would have gotten a lot of people excited, I think, although the current Marvel crowd seems to despise the 90s and anything to do with the 90s, and they seem to hate Rob Liefeld for some bizarre reason. So, whatever. I don't know how that really would have turned out, but I think it would be better for things that are much more finite, where it's a book and that's all it is. It's not we're announcing another ongoing series, that kind of thing. So I don't know. I mean, it's just an idea. I don't know how it would work. Like, the logistics are definitely difficult. You would need some investment from somewhere, and then there would need to be a return on that investment somehow, because otherwise it just wouldn't be worth it for people to spend the money. And I don't know if that means you would need to charge the talent to be a part of the event, and that would suck, because these guys are scraping by doing crowdfunding, trying to make money to feed their families that way. So that doesn't seem like a great idea. I don't know. If you have any ideas, please let me know. If you think this is a cool idea and you think you could figure out a way to make it happen that would make sense financially for the people involved, then absolutely let me know. If you think piggybacking off of a bigger convention maybe or something, I don't know. I mean, you let me know what you think in the comments. I would love to hear people's take on this. Do you think it's a terrible idea? Do you think it's a cool idea? Do you think it's a great idea? Do you think it's an okay idea? Do you think it's an idea that maybe you could see exploring and then could possibly just die on the vine because it's not really worth it? Like, let me know. I would love to know what people think about it, and hit me up in the comments and let me know. And then, of course, you can always follow me on Twitter at jam_creates. And if you like this video, or if you like these crazy ideas and you like some of the other stuff I've done, be sure to check out some of my other videos. You can see me walk my dog. You can see me talk about bad reality shows. And you can see me review comic books. So, follow. So, subscribe, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. All that good stuff. And, I will talk to you guys soon. So, that's it. I'm home. I'm going to have some dinner and chill out. It's unseasonably warm this week, so that's nice. Maybe I'll do more dog walking videos. We'll see. It's usually kind of dark still when I get home from work. So, I don't know. We'll have to see about that. Anyway, that is all. I will talk to you soon. It has been my pleasure. I have been Jam Creates. You have been a wonderful audience. And I say unto thee, peace